what's up?
What's going on? What's going on? You know what it is, RJ Fantasy Football Talk. This is Rodney. What's going on, Jay?
Hey, nothing much. Hey, last week of preseason is coming up, so we've had a chance to get some research done, if you will. So I'm ready for the actual games because we did our first couple of drafts this past week or so. Uh,
Yeah.
looking, we'll probably talk a little bit about those.
Yeah.
Some good, some bad, I'm sure. But I'm ready for. We got some more coming up this weekend. I'm ready for football, like meaningful football. I'm tired of watching these scrubs play in this preseason game. I'm ready for action.
I mean, me too, man. I'm waiting. I can't wait, man. It can't come quick enough. And I think the fact that like we drafted now,
No.
and it's kind of like we seeing like, yeah, we want certain players, but in the scheme of things, you probably ain't gonna get them when you draft because everybody else probably thinking the same thing you thinking. So
Yeah.
it's more like you're in war mode now, trying to get ready for these drafts. But hey, man, the big one's coming this weekend, man. So it's just prepping us for the big ones. So it's all good. So definitely.
Oh yeah, good stuff happening. Welcome, Lena Lewis, to the show. Most faithful of viewers. Good to have you.
So
She's actually that's my mother, for those that don't know. She's actually said she's gonna try to put herself a fantasy football team together. That way she can participate with the show. And
uh,
kind of knows gonna have to
hey,
help her get set up.
yeah, we're gonna make sure she's right. So
Yeah,
definitely, we'll
so
we'll get her right. Ain't no big deal. So
yeah,
we
we'll see. That's gonna be an adventure. So,
yes, it will. So, hey, I think she get it.
yeah,
She'll
yeah.
enjoy it. So, I
She's
think she'll do well.
she's a
Be
big
honest with you.
football fan. So
So,
yeah, yeah. Well,
so
before we get into it, with a little bit of news, we want to take a moment to pay homage to another great one. If I can get my graphics together, Len Dawson, who passed away at the age of 87. Our producers from Kansas City, and so that hits a lot of home and memories there. So for his family and all of Kansas City, we want to pay our respects. He brought them their first Super Bowl and a few AFL championships as well. So uh,
well,
nice send
hey,
off for Mr.
yeah.
They actually play tomorrow. They already have something they're going to be doing to honor Lynn Dawson, and then they said maybe they're looking to do something else probably later during the season as well, because
Rest in peace,
rest in
Lenny
peace.
Dawson.
Yeah, they normally do like a patch though, right? They gonna do a
Yeah, yeah.
patch. Oh, yeah. So,
So,
yeah. Hey, man, rest in peace, and definitely prayers up to his family.
yes,
So
indeed.
we gonna start with some more lighter news, kind
Yeah,
of brighten it up a little bit. Which we all seen this coming. Baker Mayfield won the starting job. It's not news, but hey, you got to report it.
yeah.
Um,
They broke they put it in as break. It's like everybody knew that,
Everybody
but
knew that.
it's the least news that's ever been newsed.
Yeah, so
Welcome Nita to the show as well. Glad she could join us.
I don't think it's to me it's nothing.
Yeah,
I mean, to be honest with you, I mean I put him and Sam Donald in the kind of the same category a little bit for me. So
yeah,
I don't think it's an upgrade. I just think they gave him the job because he's probably a bigger name
yeah.
as far
They tried Sam Donald last year. It didn't go well. That's why they ended up bringing in Cam Newton. That didn't go well. So I think they're just throwing pasta against the wall and trying to hope something sticks. Are you drafting Baker Mayfield on any team at all?
not even.
Not even a little bit.
Nope, not even thinking about him.
I'm
Nope.
sadly thinking about it, not because I want to, but we play in the two quarterback league, and the one thing about that quarterback league we're in, I have the first pick, so I'm gonna have a really good quarterback, and then yeah,
Get kind of shaky
the way
at that
quarterbacks
point.
go in that particular league, I'm gonna have one that's really good and one that I'm going to be praying. So I was like, Baker Mayfield is not X'd off my list, sadly. I
I
don't.
mean,
Yeah,
I don't know, man. Like
yeah,
I don't want to draft him, but you know how it is when you, especially in those leagues and two quarterbacks, you have to
yeah,
kind of sometimes you got to make that move to draft a person when you be like, you know how you walk up to the boy and be like, man, I really don't want this guy, man, but I got to get him anyway. So he a quarterback, he a body, and you need that in those leagues. So definitely. I mean, but he's not on my list, to be honest with you. So
for those that are unfortunate and have to, hopefully he does a lot of dump offs with Christian McCaffrey, assuming he's healthy all year, because that's about the only way. Baker's had some good years, so I don't want to completely diss like Baker Mayfield can't play quarterback. He's just very inconsistent and up and down, and that's the last thing you want for your fantasy football team. You need consistency, and he ain't that. So
well, you gotta have that, but we'll see. I hope you do well. That's all I can say. I hope you do well and go from there. So I don't know. And then this one here, I think this is going. Our producer is. She's probably not gonna like this one, and I'm in agreement with her on this one. We normally don't agree a lot if y'all know us.
Yeah.
So, Sammy Watkins.
Oh,
he's throwing a little shade.
A lot of shade
to Patrick Mahomes, saying that Aaron Rodgers is on a whole other level compared to Mahomes.
Yeah, Mahomes is incredible, but Aaron Rodgers, it's like he hasn't even played with Aaron Rodgers, first off, and he barely played with Mahomes because he's hurt all the time. I was like, get out of. I mean, Tyreek Hill, but it's the same thing. Tyreek went somewhere else, so you talk up your new guy. Sammy Watkins is with Green Bay, so he's talking up his new guy. Get out of here with all that.
But is that my thing? Is that really necessary?
Not even a little bit.
It's not necessary. I mean, Sammy Watkins. If we really want to dive deep into Sammy Watkins' career, Sammy Watkins has probably one good game a year.
Yeah.
And after that, he's either hurt or he doesn't produce. So I don't think he's going to be around to even see what Aaron Rodgers can do. And don't drop the ball because he ain't going to throw you the ball anyway. So that's another thing.
I say this. Patrick Mahomes got Sammy Watkins a Super Bowl, and that's the only quarterback he's played with that's done that. So zip it. Give him out.
So, and this one, this news here, I really don't. I gotta pay attention to it because I'm a fan, but to me, I think it's just nonsense. Brett Favre going on an interview saying Jimmy G should start because he's a winner. Like, what has he won? Like, I'm trying to figure this out, and I think it goes back to his own situation where he lost his job to a second, third year guy, and he claimed he wasn't ready to go because if you all know Aaron Rodgers' history, but Brett Favre's history, he had a point of his career where he would say, I'm coming back, or I'm not coming back, or I want to play and I don't want to play. And he was like, look, we're tired of it, we're just moving on. And he's making this big gripe about how Jimmy is a winner. I'm trying to figure out what has he won. You tell me. I want to know.
The NFC Championship.
No, not even. But okay.
Yeah.
I just think it's foolishness. I think he does that to. You get asked the question, and you got to give your true opinion about it. But I don't know. I think that's just crazy, personally. How you feel about that?
I think it's Brett Favre being Brett Favre. He's just, like you said, a lot of it is the old gripe of, hey, this guy was there, give him a chance. Was like, but we've seen that guy. Brett Favre did say there's obviously a lot of upside to Trey Lance, but my whole point is, I think Jimmy G has done as much as he can possibly do for the 49ers. It's sort of like when the Chiefs went with Mahomes over Alex Smith. It's not that Alex Smith was a horrible quarterback, but you knew that there's limitations to what this guy can do. Same thing happened with you 49ers not too long ago. Also Alex Smith going to Colin Kaepernick. It's like, look, when the writing's on the wall and you see that your guy is limited and you have someone with potential, you at least got to find out what that potential does. So for me, it's just Brett Favre being Brett Favre. But it does lead into our next story, which is your coach, Kyle Shanahan, saying anything is possible related to Jimmy G still being on the roster. 53-man roster cuts are next week, and Jimmy G is still there. What you thinking?
I'm gonna just put it out there like this. He doesn't have a playbook. He's not in the quarterback meetings. He's not in anybody
Hmm.
meetings actually, and he don't travel with the team when they go to these preseason games. So, and even when they do practice, he's on the side of the field. So once he's done practicing on the side of the field, he goes home.
Yeah.
So
And from what I read, he doesn't even have the playbook.
he doesn't even have the
He doesn't
playbook.
have the. So,
So
yeah.
I think the whole thing about this is this. I think
Yeah.
what they're doing is they want to, because his money, none of his money is guaranteed. So they
Hmm.
can keep him up to, I think, of that Friday before week one, and then they can cut him. They want to keep him away from a certain team for some reason, the Seattle Seahawks, because they played on week two, which for me, I would not care personally if we cut him and he goes there because Seattle is going to be garbage this year. I mean, honestly, they don't have a good offensive line. They run a game is okay. They got
Yeah.
two good receivers, yes, but their defense is trash. So they're not going to be good anyway. But I think the whole playbook of what Shanahan like to scheme up, I think that's the whole big issue. They know because once he get cut, he's going there. They're gonna try to sign him just to get some feedback on what
Yeah.
he does, and that's about it. Other than that, he's not gonna be on the team, to be honest
Yeah.
with you.
No.
So, and that rolls into what I got. My last piece of news is Seattle um, quarterback battle is undecided, and they say that they feel comfortable going into the season with both quarterbacks. Now, as a fantasy football
Mhm.
player, let's just put real life football aside for a
Yeah.
minute. Um, I'm not comfortable as any fantasy football player going in to saying I'm going to draft Geno Smith or Drew Lock. Because if your coach is saying that I'm undecided
Yeah.
and it's week 3 of the preseason and you don't know already, that's a problem for me. And I can't get behind it to say, well, I'm gonna go get one of these quarterbacks. I'm just not doing it.
Yeah. For the old adage is if you have two quarterbacks, you don't have one. So, yeah, I'm not touching either one at Gino or Drew Lock at this point for fantasy purposes. No
Mm-hmm.
matter how desperate, because you like it, and the truth of the matter is, like you said before, they're really just waiting for Jimmy G to be available, and so they're just holding a spot. So we'll see. Anita says regarding Baker Mayfield, he's going to be killing worms for all the balls skipping on the ground. Potentially, Baker is Baker. The one thing about Baker for this year, at least, he has hopefully a chip on his shoulder and a lot to prove because we've seen Baker Mayfield be good. He can't be good consistently, like we said earlier, but if there was ever a reason to motivate yourself, it should be, hey, y'all let me go for a guy who's not even going to play more than
Yeah.
half the season. I'm going to show y'all what you're missing. Whether he has the talent to do, he's got some talented wide receivers, and I don't think he did. Well, that's not true. He has a talented wide receiver. He has
Yes.
DJ Moore,
Hey,
and,
DJ Moore.
and
I
he
mean,
has CMC when he's healthy. So
yes.
he has some talent to work with there. We'll see how that
I,
works out.
I mean, like I said, I hope the best for him, but I think we have seen the best
We've
from
seen who
him.
he is. At
Yeah.
this point, he's been in the league long enough that you
Yeah.
are what the stats say you are.
And I think this is his make or break year for him
Yeah.
if he's going to be a starter going into next year, ever again. Just a starter, period, in the league.
What,
Because, I don't know.
They drafted a rookie. He's out for the season, but I mean, the rookie, I forget his name. Corral.
Corral, yeah.
Yeah, Corral.
Corral. Mhm.
You know, Baker Mayfield's not the answer. the
No.
long term. So he needs to do well to audition, like you said, for a chance to be the starter somewhere else. What up, Justin?
What's going on,
to
Justin?
the show.
Now,
Just-
I mean, me personally,
Yeah.
I think they gonna kind of Donald gonna be in there. Mayfield. I think it's gonna be a lot of moving chairs with that quarterback position this year. I think because Mayfield is gonna start obviously, but if they start off bad, then they're gonna have to try to make a change to go to Sam Donald, which that's not even better than Baymill. So
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, neither one are worth drafting. Let's
Right.
just be honest with you, because you're not gonna put that much stock into a Baker Mayfield, knowing if he goes out there and just completely
Stinks up the
does
place.
anything, they're gonna replace him with Sam
Yeah.
Donald. Then you're gonna be in a bind trying to get a quarterback. It just doesn't. That's not a good
Yeah.
feeling, you know.
I don't know if you're going to be in a bind because Sam Darnold was so bad last year. If he was announced as the starter, I don't even know if people would want any part of that. It's just bad and bad. They don't have any good guys. So Justin has a big draft tomorrow. So Hoy, if you got some questions, let us know. Try to
No.
get you ready. Do you think Javante, Aaron Jones slide to the round 3? If not, what do you think the best idea is for round 3? If not, he's thinking Evans or Pitts.
Based on the two drafts we have did, and
Mm.
I'm gonna try to base it off that a little bit because I don't know who he's playing with. Um, Aaron Jones, I think went second round
Yeah, I think so.
in both our drafts. So I don't think he slips to the
Yeah,
third round, but I do think Javante Williams does
yeah.
slip to the third round. Um, but if you send Evans, Pitts, or Javante, I'm going because I don't think Aaron Jones is going to be there personally. Um,
Well, I guess it depends, and if this is where it's a 10-team league. If this is earlier I was talking about having the fifth pick. If it's the fifth pick, Aaron Jones in the third.
mm-mm.
Probably not
Nope.
because
Because
if you have like a early like first or second a pick in the third, then you might have a shot at Aaron Jones. I
yeah,
think.
but not because you got to
But
think about the guy on the
yeah,
back end with the two picks
yeah,
who could possibly take that unless he goes. I mean, if you really wanted Aaron Jones, you might have to go up to second round. You might have to pull that a little bit earlier than usual, like for you to get Aaron Jones. Sitting
mm,
at 5, and then you got the back end at 10. He got 2, and then you might have to put him on your second pick.
yeah.
And I don't know if you're willing to do that early for Aaron Jones. Me personally, I would though. I like Aaron Jones to be honest with you, but would you do that?
Would I do Aaron Jones as a second round pick if I was
Yeah,
in the middle?
yeah,
I highly would consider it, of course, because we've talked about Aaron Jones and he's essentially going to be for the most part. I see Aaron Jones being sort of Austin Eckler ish
yeah.
in his
Me
role
too.
with the Green Bay Packers. And
Hmm.
Eckler's pretty good, and Aaron Jones was already good by itself. So I think there's enough in that backfield for both Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon to coexist, and they'll both be doing so. Yeah, I would definitely go because the odds of getting him in the
The
third, I
third
think,
is not
are
because
Javante.
you
I
got
think could be there.
Javante definitely gonna be
Javante
there.
would definitely be there at third. So if
But
you
if you
want a running back, I think that's a good third round running back to go to.
because he got to think about the guy on the back end coming off that first round, and then he got to think about the guy at 1 coming around with the two
Yeah.
picks. So those factor in a lot, to be honest with you. So
Question for you, and this goes to a question we were talking about earlier.
mhm.
If you have that fifth pick in the first round, where are you going? Who are you going to target? I was saying earlier, Eckler or Justin Jefferson could be there a good guys to go on. Eckler might not make it. It depends
I
on how
don't.
the
It
league
depends on the
is,
league.
but if he's
Um,
there, yeah, definitely. But
yeah.
Justin Jefferson probably would be my certain target at that point. Who do you
Well,
like?
if Eckler's there, if he finds a way of just slipping down
Hmm.
to you at 5, I'm definitely going Eckler
Yeah,
because I feel like I love Jeff Jefferson, but I think a lot of running backs, people going, to especially in probably in the league he play in. I'm pretty sure it's more running back centric than anything.
mm,
So I think it's going to be a lot of running backs going before him, and I would go Eckler and then try to get Jefferson in that round 2.
yeah,
To be honest with you, that's what I would do.
yeah. The other ones I just mentioned. The first I'd say at that point at 5, first round, I would target like a Justin Jefferson, Najee Harris, Jamar Chase, and then I had to pull up my message. In the second round, I would target Aaron Jones if he's there, CeeDee Lamb, Travis Kelce if you want to go knock out that tight end spot.
Yeah, I would too. I would go that route too.
Yeah.
But if Eckler's there, you definitely get him, and then you come back around that second pick. If Jefferson's sitting there, yes, you go Jefferson. But for me, Jefferson and Chase are more of a toss-up. To be honest with you, it's what you want from both of them, to be honest. Because the thing is, with Chase, he has two other receivers that could actually do just as well as him.
Yeah.
So that's part. But with Jefferson, you have one, and maybe a tight end, and that's it. But you have nothing. And Cook, I was going to get his catches out of the back. But Jefferson is the guy there, plain and simple.
Yeah, Cook isn't a bad pick at that point in the draft either. If he's there.
I like Cook.
How do you like AJ Dillon, Dameon Pierce, Tony Pollard as running backs? Go hero running back.
Well, I'll just let you know this. I got AJ Dillon in both drafts this year.
Yes, you did.
And I got Dameon Pierce in one draft, and you got Dameon Pierce in one draft. So we are both high on Dameon Pierce, and we both high. I stole AJ Dillon from him because I know he wanted him. So, but AJ Dillon, I think, is going to be great this year. They're already saying that he's 1A to Aaron Jones. So I think he's going to be good. I love it. I love both of those guys. Tony Pollard.
I was going to ask you, what do you think of Tony Pollard?
You got to go with the man say. If Jerry Jones saying, and you got to, I mean, Jerry Jones, the coach, CEO, whatever you want to call it, offensive coordinator, he makes the rules around there, and they saying that Zeke gonna be a heavy dose
That's what he said.
So Pollard gonna get mixed in because he's talented. They probably gonna run him. They've been running him at slot a lot this year, receiver wise. So he's not a bad, he's not a bad piece to pick up. But I wouldn't go early for him, and which I've been seeing a lot of people going, not too early, but they've been going for me too early for Tony
earlier
Pollard.
than you would.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that early for
him. Saquon Barkley, second round. Saquon Barkley.
I think that's fair. Second round.
Depending on when it is, I would say the back of the second round. Back of the second round, early third is probably where I would put Saquon. Chiefs, last in the division?
I'm still sticking to it.
You're going down with that ship, dude.
Yeah, I'm going down with the ship. I'm sorry. I got to do it. I got to stick to my guns. I told you, one thing about me, and you know me, if I'm wrong, I will come up here and I would say I was wrong. I will say that.
Which you will be saying, by the way.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm good with that.
Issue with taking Justin Jefferson in the first is you kind of forced to go running back second round unless Lamb or Kelce drop. Yeah. That is the issue. But here I'd see it like this. For the first round, I want the best potential player I can get. I always go. Well, I can't even say always because I've gone tight end in the first round before.
That's true, you have.
But for me, it's typically going to be a running back or a wide receiver, and I want the absolute best one of those guys who's going to be high. And this is the key for all fantasy. I want high volume. And Justin Jefferson, the one thing about this new offense, he says he has the Cooper Kupp role in the Vikings. Going in. So we saw Cooper Kupp last year, and Justin Jefferson in that role is going to be a monster. He was already a monster. I think Justin Jefferson. We're not bold predictions, but I'm gonna go ahead and say Justin Jefferson, number one wide receiver overall, and it's not even gonna be close. He's gonna have a Cooper Kupp-ish kind of year this year. So I'm really big on Justin Jefferson for that very very reason. AK-41. You going Alvin Kamara? Yeah, second round is about where Alvin Kamara's been going late. Some in the late first or early second.
I got him in the second round, and the second draft we did. So I definitely got him in the second round. So I like AK. Back to the Jefferson thing though.
Yeah.
I feel like you can get Jefferson at 5
Yeah, he should
on
definitely
the come
be there.
around in the second round because I
Hold
know
on,
a lot
you
of guys
think
are
Jefferson
probably
will
going
be
to go.
there in the second round at 5?
I mean, think about it. You got the first if he's in a running back league, because if they get most points for running backs, I talked to him, and I think it's more of a running back league.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's going to go get that running back first,
Mm-hmm.
unless they just feel like Jefferson is that guy for them. But Jefferson may be there, but even if Jefferson is not there, CeeDee Lamb, Kelsey are definitely, or Kelsey's on the back end at least.
Mm-hmm.
But CeeDee Lamb is definitely going to be there for you. But you definitely go running back first. But like you say, Jefferson, you can't go wrong with Jefferson. Because Jefferson's going to get all that value, no matter what. So,
Yeah.
for me, yeah, I definitely.
Well, I don't know the scoring of this particular league, but generally,
Justin,
it's
give us the
PPR.
scoring, Justin.
Wide receivers and running backs both generally get about a point for every 10 yards,
Yeah.
whether they're rushing or receiving. So for me, they're sort of equal footing. The only time I put the running backs above the wide receivers are when they guys like a Derrick Henry or a Jonathan Taylor, where they're gonna get that volume. You know, they're touching the rock like 25 to 30 times a game.
Yeah.
You know, wide receivers, obviously, they're not. If you're getting 20 or 30 passes, wow, that's unheard of. But if there's a guy who's going to be putting in the kind of yards and can break open, they only have wide receiver only has to burn one guy. You know,
Yeah.
a cornerback or safety slips, and
Yeah.
70
Definitely.
yard touchdown, whereas a running back needs 20 or 30 carries just to get to the 70. But that's why I say it's kind of you got a balance between the two. Justin Jefferson ain't coming back. Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah.
I would be
That's why I said
surprised
to-
if he was in. I think you have to take him at 5 where you don't get him.
That's why I said,
yeah.
go Eckler, then CeeDee Lamb. I mean, even Chase may. I don't think Chase comes back either, but I know Lamb will. CeeDee Lamb will come back. Because you got to take the first 5 receivers off the board. It's probably going to be Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, Jefferson, Chase, and I guess if you want to put CeeDee Lamb in that category, CeeDee Lamb.
Yes, CeeDee Lamb. I'm big on CeeDee Lamb this year just because he's stepping in as that one role, but not nearly as much as I'm on Justin Jefferson. Going back a few, and we meant to actually we talked about this when we were speaking earlier. We surprised we didn't bring it up. AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones, the 1A and the 1A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard it and I seen it, and I think they're gonna get carries. They're gonna get carries, John. I just like it. I mean, if you can grab both of them and play one in your running back slot and one in your flex, that's amazing if you can get both of them. But it's probably not gonna happen though. But I like that though. To be honest with you,
it can definitely happen. News: we were actually talking about the Darren Waddle injury. I mean, I put both names together. We're talking about the Darren Waller injury right before the show.
yeah.
We'll see.
Where
he's been hurt pretty much since last year. They say he's working hard to get back, but and Darren Waller scares me for that very reason. We're talking about his ability to stay healthy is getting a huge question mark right now. So that's why I have him still as like my 5th ranked tight end. I would draft Waller behind, of course, Kelsey, the greatest of all time. Get yourself some Kelsey Crunch if you're in Kansas City. Then after that, I have Mark Andrews, Kyle Pitts, of course, your guy, George Kittle. And then I start seeing Waller. But I'm not going to jump out as much on Waller as I probably would have recommended if I thought he was going to be healthy. I think he played 11 games last year. Hopefully he plays more than that this year. But if you're expecting a full season,
don't expect it.
Don't
expect it. I like his question he asked. Yeah. Well, not a question, but he said something about Michael Carter, which came out today.
Oh yeah,
they saying he's the running back. He's a running back one, and we've been saying that.
Said that right.
We said that last night on the phone. Well, the last time we talked on the phone was the other day, and we said that, and we was like, they making this big hype about Breece Hall when there's no need to.
Mm-hmm.
Like Brees Hall, you're not taking that spot away from Michael Carter.
No.
It ain't like he was a slouch last year.
At best, it's a timeshare between the two.
Yeah.
And so that's why, much like we talked about a few years ago, all the hype going into Clyde Edwards-Helaire when he came in, it's like there's nothing that really justifies that kind of hype for based off the team he's going in the offense. And we said that's why we're talking about Brees Hill. We like Brees Hill. I think both of us do, but there's no way he was going to be this stud that people were drafting him as. It's like he's going to be at best 60-40, but more likely 50-50 with Michael Carter. And so the coach is basically just saying what we were saying before.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, me personally, I don't agree with it. So
Yeah. And
we'll see.
And on the same, going back to the injury story, of course, with Jalen Waddle also dealing with an injury. I don't think either one of them is concerning to me. Like, as much as, like I said, I wouldn't expect a full season of Darren Waller. I expect him to play more games tonight. And Jalen Waddle, I'm even less concerned, really. I think both of them, neither one of those stories scare me off the player right now. Did we miss go? So first 3 rounds: Jefferson, Lamb, Javonte. That's a nice first 3 rounds if you can manage it.
But let me ask you this: does Javonte splitting time scare you?
Not a whole lot.
Even at a 60-40?
It's not like they weren't splitting carries last year and they were both productive. Now, obviously, if he's your first running back and he's in a timeshare, it's not ideal. But if your wide receivers are good enough, it can compensate for them. But you would have to go heavy in what they call the no running back zone. You're gonna have to go heavy there and get you some ballers because you're obviously gonna be deficient somewhere. How do you feel about Etienne? I like him, but I it's similar to the Michael Carter, the Melvin Gordon's, Javonte. He's in a timeshare now until Robinson gets back. He's gonna eat, but he might be ready week 1. In which case, you gotta deal with it.
I'm a big James Robinson fan. I think James Robinson, they saying he gonna be the 3 down back.
Mm-hmm.
So Etienne probably gonna end up getting some carries, but I think Etienne is gonna play more of a slot receiver role. They just not putting it out there yet, but I think he's gonna be more of a pass catcher than an actual running back. To be honest with you.
You gotta pick one for the second round if Lamb and Kelsey are gone. Aaron Jones, Alvin Kamara, Saquon Barkley, Nick Chubb in the. From the way it sounds, Nick Chubb won't be there in a second, but
no, not in a second.
Nick Chubb, Deebo Samuel. If Nick Chubb were there in a second, I'd go for it, but I wouldn't plan on that one. And I'm very leery on whether Alvin Kamara would be there. Honestly,
I don't think Alvin Kamara will be there because they saying he's not gonna get suspended. So
once they said no suspension,
he slides into that top 7 of running backs. Barkley may be there.
Barkley should be there for certain. Barkley, who do you like between? Let's say we're right. Chubb is gone. AK-41 is gone. You got Aaron Jones, Barkley, and Deebo Samuel looking you in the face. Who are you picking between those 3?
Barkley injury history scares me.
Yeah, I knew.
So I'm gonna just take him off. I'm gonna take him off the block anyway.
Right.
Surprisingly, I'm going Aaron Jones, just because of the fact that he's gonna get. They don't have no receivers. Their receiving group is.
They've got Sammy Watkins. We already talked about him at the start of the show.
Okay, you take Sammy Watkins
for that first week.
Yeah, exactly. I don't like their receiving core. I think Aaron Jones is gonna benefit a lot from Devontae Adams not being there, and they said that he may get 50 receptions this year, plus on top of running. I think, and I love Deebo. You know that. I'm a huge Deebo fan. But I think going into, if you want to mix of both, running and receiving, because I don't think Deebo is going to run that much this year like that, only if necessary when it comes down to it. I'll go Aaron Jones because I think Aaron Jones gonna be a monster this year. To be honest with you,
I was going to
so
say the same thing. I was halfway expecting you to go Debo.
I know you was. That's why I
Yeah.
shocked you, and I was like, you thinking I'm going there? But if Aaron Jones is sitting there, I'm going Aaron Jones because I feel like Debo is kind of not slipping, but I think people are not. Well, can he do it again?
Hmm.
I think that's the attitude they're taking with Debo. Can he run that back again?
The only thing that worries me a little bit about Debo is in the offseason him saying he doesn't want to be the dual running back wide receiver. I think that was just talk for the
I
contract.
think it is. It is talk in his
But
contract. He got
yeah,
bonus clause in his contract.
yeah,
If he get over 300, I think it's like 300 and something carries, he gets the amount of money. If he get a
yeah.
certain amount of touchdowns, so I think it was more of just talk. But I still think with the running backs that we have, I
Hmm.
don't think he's gonna be running as much as
Y'all
he
running backs
was.
can't stay healthy to save their lives,
That's true.
so
I agree with you.
they need him there for that.
Yeah,
No,
I agree with
would you rather have Mike Evans, Zeke, Leonard Fournette, or AJ Brown?
you. Mike Evans, Zeke. I'm going Mike Evans.
Mm.
I'm going Mike Evans. Mike Evans. I'm going Mike Evans. I think Mike Evans just because Mike Evans is consistent.
I,
Every year he's consistent.
my answer for this question is predicated on who I have before, because all of these guys, you've already drafted one or maybe even two players ahead before you
Yeah.
get to these guys. So I'm assuming I already have at least one good pick, and I'm going to shoot myself in the foot for going down this road again after getting burned a couple of years
Lenny.
ago. I'm gonna go Leonard
Lenny.
Fournette and say
Lenny
he can't
Fournette.
do this to me again, and say,
Ah.
yeah,
Okay,
but
this is the problem.
I'm scared while I'm doing it. I think
This is
Mike
my
Evans
thing.
is the most consistent of all of those you can expect.
Yeah, this is my thing. AJ
Yeah,
Brown, we don't know what we getting from Jalen Hurts. Let's
I
just
do,
be honest.
but I'll tell y'all about that next week.
Um, we know because you drafted him.
Hmm.
But let's put that aside now.
That's aside. Yeah,
Let's put that aside. AJ Brown, we don't know. Are we gonna get 1,000 yards from AJ Brown because we know his quarterback doesn't tend like to throw the ball as much?
hmm.
Um, Leonard Fournette, you've been burned before.
I've
I'm
been
not.
burnt by Leonard
Yeah,
Fournette, but
I'm high on Zeke, but if I'm
yeah,
talking about consistency, somebody being there every week, I'm going Mike Evans because Mike Evans is going to do it every week. Plus, Godwin is not there for the first
yeah.
couple of weeks probably, and you got Julio. So I'm going Mike Evans though for me.
I'm going Mike Evans for consistency, Leonard
Hmm.
Fournette for the best breakout candidate of those four.
And then AJ,
I think Leonard Fournette can have a really big year this
yeah,
year.
okay.
But that's me. I'm optimistic.
I ain't mad at that.
Would you be into fading off what we're discussing earlier? Fading Justin Jefferson. I never fade Justin Jefferson, but
No.
fade him in order to get a Derrick Henry or Najee Harris or Dalvin Cook.
Oh boy, that's a good question. Yeah.
Yeah. The second half of it brings the question back, like
Yeah.
just the word fade
Woo.
Justin Jefferson. Like I would never do that in my life. But for those guys,
I'm gonna just say this.
I don't think you get Henry at 5. If you do, then your people are messing up horribly. So
I'm gonna
yeah,
just say this. Derrick Henry had 925 yards through 8 games and 10 touchdowns. And he had like 25 receptions
Mhm.
and 200 passing yards, and I think 8 touchdowns
Yeah.
last year. This is through 8 games.
Yeah.
I want you to kind of
Just
think
imagine.
about this. Just imagine through a whole 16, 17 game season what you're getting from him if he would stay healthy. And the thing is, people keep saying about the foot injury.
Yeah.
He came back from the foot injury and
Still played in the playoffs.
still played in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm
He
not
broke-
worried about him getting hurt.
No, this man trains
because-
like a machine. Like, I'm not worried about his foot hampering him this year. I think personally, if he drops to you at 5,
Oh,
you're
I'm
crazy
jumping on
not
that.
to get him.
Yeah, if Derrick Henry's there at 5, I'm saying
You're
his
crazy
name so
not to get him.
fast. Right.
Because even in a PP, think about this, we play in a strong PPR league.
Yeah.
He was the number one running back through week 7 in
Yeah.
a PPR league that we play in. And our PPR league is probably one of the strongest that I know of. There's no way. If he's sitting at 5, you better grab him. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So,
I would agree with that 100%. Wants to go over the top 15 players. That's going to take a minute. Let's table that one for a second. And I skip ahead to say deep sleeper quarterbacks. We did a whole show on sleepers. I didn't have a whole lot of sleepers because I'm like, quarterbacks. They ain't nobody sleeping this year. You're
I
either
got
good or
one.
you're bad. You had one. Go ahead, say
I got one.
yours.
I
I
think
say
Davis
what
Mills.
I go for, a quarterback who's going fairly late. But yeah, hit yours.
I think Davis Mills.
Yeah,
I think Davis Mills
you did say that.
is a sleeper quarterback that could really produce for you
Mm-hmm.
in a really good way. Because I think he's a. I mean, a lot of people not high on him, but I'm really high on him this year, and I think he's gonna do work. To be honest with
I
you,
like the fact that he has no competition and he's gonna have the job the whole year, no matter what he does.
yeah. And that's the key thing about it is nobody's there to take his job,
Mm-hmm.
and they're giving him the keys to the car, and they're letting him just go.
Yeah.
So I think Davis Mills is definitely somebody that I'm high on this year as far as quarterback. So I think he's a sleeper in my opinion. So and that division ain't hard anyway.
Yeah, no.
So
I don't know whether any of these guys count as sleepers, but I go with some quarterbacks who are going way. I won't even say way, but they're going outside the top 12 of quarterbacks. And of course, I'm going to start with Derek Carr just because he's Derek Carr. And another bold prediction. It's not even going to be bold by the time I say it because I've been saying it religiously. Watch out for an MV caliber season from Derek Carr. I feel the same way about Kirk Cousins. I think that's another guy who's going late.
yeah.
But if we're talking more deep in sleeper, I think maybe you go with someone like a Matt Ryan, who's going later than he's ever been. And the thought being, Jonathan Taylor said that's going to be a running. I'm not fading Jonathan Taylor. We haven't gone to our draft yet. I'm all in on Jonathan Taylor, but I will say Jonathan Taylor is going to be less workhorse-ish.
It's okay.
He's like,
okay, look.
hey,
It's all
I'm
good.
saying like this. Matt Ryan throws for 4,000 yards just falling out of bed. And I don't expect that to change over there in Indianapolis. He's going to be at least 38, 39 100 yards passing. And so I think that should make Matt Ryan pretty enticing as a late pick. But if you want to go like I'm going crazy, balls to the wall, let me give you guys a pick. If Jameson Williams is healthy,
I was about to say that.
I'd go Jared Goff. Is about as deep sleeperish as I can get. Because we've seen Jared Goff be very fantasy relevant. And they put together a pretty nice and counted DeAndre Swift as one of these receiver running backs. I think Jared Goff might surprise some people this year.
I agree with you. I think Jared Goff.
I'm hoping he's there for
put
one of the
some
leagues we're
talent
doing
around
this
him.
weekend.
Yeah, I know, bro.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gonna have to talk offline about that one, but I think Jared Goff got some talent around him. They put some talent. I think I like Swift at running back. T.J. Hawkinson is good. Even St. Brown is good. I mean, DJ Chark, they got talent there. I think with talent, I think he's good. And like you say, we have seen him throw for 4,000, almost 4,500 yards. So he definitely is somebody. Deep sleeper. He could not win your league, but he'll help you win the league.
Yeah.
if you want to go there. So
if you're in a 2 quarterback league that's very high on passing,
yes,
and you have the first pick, and you need someone to rely on for your second pick,
look,
Jared Goff might be a name you want to have on your piece of paper. I'm just saying
look,
that.
I ain't in your way. You ain't got to worry about me. Okay, I'm not your problem. Okay, everybody else is.
I've been thinking long and hard about who that second guy's gonna be. So
yeah.
do you think CMC as well? CMC actually failed more in the 2 drafts that we've done. Well, actually, he didn't fall in one of them because he went like second.
He went 2.
Yeah,
he went 2 in the second league.
That's about where. So, but for the first draft, he went a lot later than I was expecting. But I don't think CMC is gonna really fall because I think people are believers.
I'm not.
You're not. I am not at the position he's getting drafted. But I haven't been on CMC that high since last year when I drafted him number 1 and crashed and burned. Or the year before that when I drafted him at number 1 and I crashed and burned. So I like CMC, but I'm not. He won't be that pick for me anymore. He's going to have to come a little bit later. I'm like, nope. Been burnt too many times down the road. I see why people still draft him high, and I'm happy for you, and I wish you the best. But yeah,
I'm not doing it. Messing with him. He fell in the guy that took him second. Our great friend Fred. I wouldn't have took him there personally. Mm-hmm. I would have went another route. I'm just too scared of him getting out of the bed, getting hurt, bro. Like, I'm just saying, like, going into a game and he cut the wrong way, which could have happened to anybody, but him is more because he has had those injuries before. That scares me way too much that I go that high of a pick for somebody and my season is down the drain like that. Yeah. Now, if you're talking second round, third round, we good. It ain't happening.
But yeah.
But like if he's there, if he's sitting there in the second round, by all means, you take him.
So more realistically, if he's there at 5 and you have to pick between CMC and Henry, first off, that's not going to happen.
It's not happening.
It's not. But if either one of those is there at 5, then I would say yes, I'd go for it. But let me know, because if either one of those guys are there for you at 5, you need to go get some lottery tickets immediately because you're having a incredible streak of luck. And welcome, Shaq. The third man is with us.
Third man. You've been missing. Where you was at, man?
Yeah.
Huh? We ain't seen you.
We did almost an hour of the show without you. What's going on? We need you.
What's going on, man? You need to tell your job that you're off in time. I think I'm still going Henry, even if CMC falls.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Let's be hypothetical right quick. Let's be hypothetical right quick and just say both of them fall.
Henry.
I'm going Henry.
Henry was our number 2 running back after Jonathan Taylor, and
yes,
part of me wanted to boost him to number 1. So no, we many years ago when we had less gray hair and was more hair on the top of the head, we were like, no, Derrick Henry's not a PPR guy. Derrick Henry has made us both believers, and I shall never doubt King Henry again.
I mean, what was it 2 years ago? I was like, man, I'm not touching Derrick Henry. Yeah. He'll catch out the backfield. He don't need a catch. He did it again. I was like, you know what? I'm just to the point where I'm not doubting this guy ever again. Never, ever again. I'm not doing it no more. This guy I have lost to Derrick Henry so many times in a PPR league, bro. You just don't, for a fact. Yeah. Derrick Henry has put up 60 to 70 points in a PPR league and not caught one pass.
Because he's going to get 25 to 30 carries a game.
And
that ain't going to change this year.
No, it's not.
That ain't changing. So, yeah.
I'm not doing it.
I'm big on Harry. Well, we've been talking drafting. Let's show our drafts. Which one do you want to start with? You want to go with the Dynasty League draft or the redraft league? You want to do the Dynasty one? So we had, like I mentioned, a couple of drafts recently. One of them being our Dynasty League. This is a 12-man, it's an 11-man plus 1 woman league. Our producer, Sydney's actually in this league as well. So I'm showing you, I had the 3rd pick, Rodney at the 7th pick. This is a startup, 28 man roster. So giving you guys a chance to see where we went. You go ahead and get us started with your thoughts on your team and what you were doing when you put this together.
Well, my initial thought going into this, because it's our first year doing it, you gotta really, and this is actually my first year, your first year doing
Yeah.
Dynasty League too. So, you gotta think about the future, but you also gotta think about the
Right.
present.
And I put that roster
So,
back up in a sec. Just want to give you some shine.
so yeah, no, stop hating, Justin. And we're gonna prove my point when this year happens. So you gotta go. You gotta go young, and the reason I went Lance early is
Mhm.
because Lance is for the future. But I went Brady down the line because I knew I could get Brady. Ain't nobody was thinking about Brady at that point because of his age, and that type of thing. He only really got 1 year left. Probably he gonna be in the league because he might retire next year. So you can bounce off of that, roll into the next year. So that's why I went that route. But I think my team is good. I think I'm pretty young. I think my oldest guy is probably
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. Outside of Tom Brady, I think it's Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
Of my core guys is Devontae Adams, and he's 29. So I think other than that, I think my team is pretty good, to be honest with you, because we get to keep 16 guys, and we get to drop 10. So obviously you can keep your core guys and go from there. But I think like the Malik Willis pick, because we got a taxi spot where you can hold a rookie in there. So next year don't play him. So Malik Willis and a couple guys I put there. So I think my team is pretty good, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it was. I can't. My trigger happy. I can't complain about how it went. It was like you said, our first time doing the Dynasty Starter League. We've been talking about it for a couple of years, so we finally got it going this year. So it was a lot of fun. Like you said, it's all about winning now and winning in the future, because there's no offseason. This thing goes on purpose. So that's why my first pick was Najee Harris, and the reason I went there because and I'm going to tell y'all more about it as the season goes on. I see Najee Harris as the second coming of LaDainian Tomlinson. I give him that sort of high praise. And the last keeper league we had, I had LaDainian, and that was just years of beauty because he's going to be so much. And they're just building such a high-powered team in Pittsburgh. You also would have seen Kenny Pickett on that list as well, and that's my spot. I'm gonna have him in my taxi squad as long as possible, but I don't know how long he's gonna last there because
Yeah.
once he starts, I'm calling him up to the regular roster. So we had some good. So like I said, I think we got the foundation. If you were watching I put it up one more time. You can see sort of my line of thinking. I went very heavy on a lot of running backs because for me that's always the core. That's always the thing that I love doing the most. If I could go back, I would do a couple of things different with this draft. With it being a super flex league,
Yeah.
I expected people to go a lot higher on quarterbacks than they actually did, and so I put myself out there to get because I wanted Derek Carr because I've been talking Derek Carr so much. I was like, I'm going Jalen Hurts. I was anxious.
Fourth.
He would have been my second pick no matter what. I love Jalen Hurts, and I think he's going to be phenomenal this year. But I would have waited a couple of rounds
Yes.
on Derek Carr because I could have waited, but. A lot of people went quarterback with that first round, but the second round, it was kind of a mix thing going. And so I was like, well, let me go ahead and get Derek Carr in this third round before everybody else goes and grabs the player I want. And apparently nobody came back. And so I missed out on a good tight end I could have gotten, and I missed out on some wide receivers I really wanted as well. But I do have some young wide receivers, like I have David Bell and Christian Watson. So I've got some guys that are going to be coming up the line. So I'm not too worried. I still think I have a good competitive team for this year and one that's going to be competitive down the line. So yeah, it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah. I mean, I like it. I mean, I like my Pickett. Is it Pickett? George Pickett. I like that pick.
Oh, George Pickens, Steelers.
Steelers receiver.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be good, honestly. And I got a few young receivers too that I'm holding on to. I'm gonna hold on to grow with, and that way, once Devontae Adams kind of get long in the tooth, I got those other guys there that can grow with me. So, but I like that squad, to be honest with you. And that's the first draft we did, so we didn't even get really warmed up, to be honest with you. So we were just
just going. And then our second draft we did was an ESPN league. This one's a redraft. I had the number 1 overall pick there, so
I had a number 12.
We were on opposite ends in that one, so you'll see that running back theme again. I always put a lot of early picks. This one, I didn't quite get the wide receiver I wanted to start off, but that's why I went with DeAndre Hopkins late, because I think DeAndre Hopkins added to the wide receivers I already have. I think it's going to make a big enough impact to make up for everything I missed. But this time I did not wait for my tight end. I mean, I was like, okay, I'm not doing that foolishness another time. What do you think about your squad?
Oh, I'm good. I mean, my only thing is I'm hoping Michael Thomas, which I got him pretty late, to be honest with you. I'm hoping Michael Thomas at least does a little bit of what Michael Thomas used to do. Mm-hmm. But with him and Mike Evans, I love A.J. Dillon. I'm a big A.J. Dillon fan this year. Brandon Ayuk is going to do work this year. And, I got Tom Terrific. So, Tom in that league too. So, I think my team should be good.
For all your talk of Tom Brady not being the greatest of all times, you sure do have a lot of Tom Brady on these teams you drafted thus far. And this weekend, rumor has it you might have some of the same plans. I don't know. We'll see how that works out. But
we got somebody on the line listening, so I can't really dispel all my stuff here. No, I actually I won some chips with Tom Brady last year, so I can't really be upset.
I should have won a chip with Tom Brady last year, but Ryan Tannehill screwed me over. But that's another story for another day.
Tom Brady won me a couple chips last year. Mm-hmm. I ain't mad at Tom, man. Tom he's been good to me.
So he is the greatest of all times for your fantasy football purposes.
Well, I won't play in fantasy when Joe Montana was around, so I would have had Joe Montana there. I'm just saying. But I like Tom. Tom, look, you can't dispute, and a lot of people say this. Tom is old. He got to break down at some point.
He was on the Masked Singer.
Yeah,
did you hear those rumors? Those crazy.
He stepped away. Tom threw for 10,000 yards the last 2 years and over 80 touchdowns. Yeah. You can't replace those numbers. I'm sorry.
He gets results.
He gets results.
And there's no reason to expect he won't do that this year either. So I'm not mad at you.
So I don't care what y'all say. I'm getting me some Tom Brady.
His numbers might be as good as Derek Carr's.
He should have won MVP last year. Just be honest with you, but that's just my opinion. But yeah.
All right. Well, those are our two teams we've drafted. Like I said, we've got a couple. Actually, we have a few because you have 3. I have 3. I have 3 this weekend also. I've got one Saturday. You got 4. Okay, I have one Saturday.
I got 4 more,
and I have 2 on Sunday. So yeah,
I got 2 Saturday, 1 Sunday, and I got 1 more.
Yeah, then I've got a couple of I think on like Labor Day weekend. So
we locked in.
This is the funny. We're ready to draft. That's what this time of year is. Over the next 2 weeks, because like the preseason's over, you're gonna see a lot of drafting coming up these next weeks. So,
the question I get a lot
is, you get?
How do y'all do it? How do y'all do so many leagues? Yeah. And just kind of keep it together and pick up guys when y'all need to. It's easy when you put your mind to it. You can do it. I mean, for me, it's easy for me because I've been doing 4 for so long. I just really branched out to 6. recently. But it's easy. You just got to know how to manage the teams.
Yeah.
And
If you can do 2 teams, you can do 8 because it's the same. It's the same kind of philosophy. It's just look certain days. You go. Well, have you seen this commercial? This couple's doing like marriage counseling, and the guy is like, this. She has me doing this fantasy football like every day, and she's like,
oh
no,
yeah, I've
it's
seen
it's
that.
not every day. It's just Sundays, and then on Monday you have. It's
Sundays
like
and
just say every day.
Thursdays.
It's like
Some Saturdays
So-
doing it late in the season.
So
Yeah.
point being, at some point, it just takes over your life altogether, and you're doing it anyway. So doing 8 teams, 7, however number. I know people who do like in the high double digits of teams. And
Yeah.
it's like at some point, you're doing this is what you're doing all the time anyway. So it's
I mean, it's a like when you get into this, because
yeah,
a lot of people don't just get into this just
Yeah.
because somebody either bring them in or say, man, I think you should join a league. But once you get into it, it's just a good thing to do, because the one thing, it makes you watch every other team. You just don't watch your team, and that's the mindset you got to have playing fantasy. You just can't watch your team every week. You got to be like, oh man, I got to keep it on this player. I got to keep it on this player. You got to have rules of thumb where I got to stay away. I can't draft too many of my players that I like.
you drafted a few 49ers players.
And that's all right. My limit is about 3 this year. So I have a limit. I have a cap on what I'm trying to do. I ain't gonna draft the full squad now.
Yeah,
But,
you got,
I mean, I
it's
love
one of
it, though,
I think
man.
it's the redraft league. You have Trey Lance, George Kittle, and is it
Brandon
Debo or
Ayuk.
Brandon Ayuk? Brandon Ayuk, yeah.
Brandon, yeah. So
So.
I mean, look, man. I see talent, man. I gotta grab it. I'm a person. I don't care about bye weeks. A lot of people care about bye weeks. Me personally, I don't care, because you got to make adjustments regardless. And your goal is to get that number 1 spot or that number 1 and 2 spot to get a bye. So that way you ain't got to play the last week anyway, or the week before the playoffs. So
I ain't mad at you. Hey, I've got Derek Carr in both leagues I've drafted in thus far. I don't think it's gonna happen this weekend. I'm drafting a little bit too high for Derek Carr, but
to me it don't matter.
Yeah, so it's all good. So we've been answering questions, and I think it's time for us to ask each other some.
Let's have a little fun.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, we have did this before, but we did it with like the upper elite players. So we doing this with the lower guys that's being drafted a little late nowadays. So I'm gonna start the way I did mine is I broke it down into positions.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start with my quarterbacks first. So, and it's called Pick One. We did this a few weeks ago when Shaq was up here. And Shaq, you can chime in if you want to.
Oh, yeah.
Justin, you can too.
Anyone
So
in
if y'all
the
wanna
audience,
chime in,
you're more than welcome to play along.
welcome to chime. So I'm gonna start with my quarterbacks. I said Trevor Lawrence or Mac Jones.
What's funny about that is I actually have that one written down. that's one of the ones I was going to ask you about.
I want to put this
I
out
mentioned
here
to the audience that I have the first pick in this very quarterback heavy league we're in. So I'm going to have a really good quarterback. I can tell everybody because no one can stop me. It's going to be Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, depending on how I'm feeling that day when I wake up and eat my Kelsey Crunch and get ready to go to the draft. But I was like, okay, I'm going to have a really bad second quarterback because quarterbacks are going to just go off the board so crazy in this league. And I actually wrote down Trevor Lawrence or Mac Jones because I'm like, that is a real life question I have to figure out. Who do I want between Mac?
Let me put this out there.
Yeah.
Now, everybody know that we've been friends for 10 years, 12 years, somewhere around there. We've been friends, we've been playing fantasy together for a very long time, put it that way. So we know each other. Yeah. Now, I want to say this because I did not tell him this stuff, y'all. Yeah. We did not discuss this list.
I have to mark off one of my questions now that it's been asked.
So I'm just putting it out there. We did not discuss any of this with each other. Most of the time we do, but we tend to leave this alone just to kind of have a more shock value when we talk about it. So just putting that out there. Go ahead.
So with all my analytical thought in my mind, I'm going Trevor Lawrence on this for a couple of reasons. One, the Jaguars were so bad because of Urban Meyer last year that I just discarded that hopeful. For me, Trevor Lawrence is a rookie with unlimited potential. I'm just resetting the clock on him. Mac Jones, on the other hand, we were both never really that big on coming out of college. And playing with Belichick, he will be. We saw a game just a year ago where he only threw 2 passes because we're just go on the run game if that's what's there. The Jacksonville Jaguars aren't going to have that as an option. It's also in a much warm weather place as opposed to New England. He's going to be free to throw the ball all season long. Trevor Lawrence is the guy, and I'm praying for a breakout year if I grab him.
I'm gonna say Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
I'm just not a fan of Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Like you said, I'm not. I think Mac Jones is a game manager at best. I think Trevor Lawrence he could be a little bit more than a game manager once he gets himself acclimated to the NFL fully. I think he could be he can be more than Mac Jones in the coming years. So I'm going Trevor Lawrence on this.
Yeah.
So my next one is
Hey.
Oh, good. I'm sorry.
It's shared. There's an R and a J over here. Let me get one in, because you might be stealing my next one too.
I'm sorry, I might do.
All right. So here's they give you guys some late running back help. One of the guys we talked about earlier on the show. These 2 guys are going around the 23rd, 24th running back off the board, 55th player overall. You can choose between the 1A, A.J. Dillon, or the 1, J.K. Dobbins with the Ravens. Who do you like most between the 2?
So I'm going to just say this. I have a question involving not those 2 together, but separate ones, but we still can do it. So you saying A.K. Dobbins or J.K. Dobbins
or A.J. Dillon?
I'm going A.J. Dillon. I like A.J. Dillon because they have a role cut out for him, period, in Green Bay. J.K. Dobbins in Baltimore, we know who the running back is. His name is Lamar Jackson.
Hate.
That's not hate. That's just he's led the team in rushing the last 3 years. So I don't think it's enough. He's going to get carries, but I think A.J. Dillon is going to be more effective with his. So I'm going A.J. Dillon. So
for me, here's the line of thought. You've got to throw the potential for injuries out the window when you make this decision. And I'm going to go J.K. Dobbins because he is the bona fide 1. I know he's not. Okay. I know there's also Lamar Jackson he's competing with. But they're both, AJ, the thing about this question is both guys are competing with somebody. J.K.'s competing with Lamar Jackson. J.K.'s competing with Lamar Jackson. And A.J. Dillon's competing with Aaron Jones. I think there's enough space for both of them to prosper. But J.K. Dobbins is the solid one. We've seen the running back and Lamar Jackson get 1,000 yards apiece. And that can actually happen, I think, in Green Bay. But if I'm going to roll the dice at that point in the game, I'm going to go with the guy who's the number 1, hoping that he's back healthy, J.K. Dobbins. But I don't think you lose with either one of those guys at that point.
All right. Yeah. So I'm going to stay with running back.
All right, go for it.
And I'm going to go, staying with J.K. Dobbins, I'm going to say Eli Mitchell or J.K. Dobbins.
I'm going to still stay with J.K. Dobbins on this one. Okay. Only because Kyle Shanahan, he's not Bill Belichick, but he ain't that far from it. They've been running Trace Sermon a lot in this preseason. And I don't think he's a threat to Eli Mitchell, but they drafted another running back. Like, y'all have like 27 potential running backs plus Deebo Samuel. I'm like, I'm going to still stay with J.K. because I assume he has less competition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I got you. I'm going Elijah because I know what's going on. He is the RB1.
I think he
is. Everybody else behind him is in case he gets hurt.
Which he does a lot.
Yeah.
He does a lot.
He's the best running back in that group out of all of them.
Yeah, I agree.
Even with Deebo, I think he mixed well with Deebo last year when they were both running the football. So I think Eli Mitchell's probably going to have a better season than J.K. Dobbins. And that's just not
mad
me
at
homering. That's just looking at stats and itself.
Yeah.
I think Lamar Jackson's going to take a lot away
He always
from,
does.
from J.K. Dobbins. So,
He always
me
does.
personally.
So I'm not bad at that. All right, we'll switch to wide receivers. One of these guys, and this is actually based off a conversation I had with Justin earlier today. Would you rather go with Tyreek Hill, who's going to be picked as around that second or third round, probably on the switch, or would you wait and get Jalen Waddle around the fourth, fifth round?
Ooh, that's a hard one. Because I'm going to go Tyreek Hill. I'm going to go Tyreek Hill, but I'm going to say why.
Yeah.
Because Tyreek Hill he's the bigger name, so he's the bigger name. He got the bigger paycheck, and I think they're going to force him to football.
Yeah.
Jalen Waddle going to get his, but I think Tyreek Hill is going to get it a little bit more because of just the contract in itself that he signed. It's going to be, okay, we paying you this amount of money. You have to produce for us. Yeah. It all hinges on Tua, though, for both of them.
That's the scary part.
That's the scary part. So it hinges on Tua to get them the ball. Now, me knowing the coaching staff because they came from San Francisco, they're going to try to make Tua and Hill kind of sort of a wide back in a sense.
Right.
They're going to bubble screen it. They're going to short pass it. They might go over the top with Tyreek every now and then. But you see they doing that in practice, but I don't think that matters because when the game really starts, a lot of people are going to cover the top with a safety regardless anyway. So I'm going Tyreek Hill just slightly over Jalen Waddle.
I think they're both going to have I would call it similar seasons. Jalen Waddle, if you watched the show last year, you know I was really big on Jalen Waddle, and he was very impressive, reaching 1,000 yards. I don't think he broke. I can't remember now whether he broke the record, but he was rated the record for receptions for a rookie. I think he hit the most in recent years. I actually gonna say I'm gonna wait because here's my thing with Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill's name, like you say, he has the big name, and they gave him the big contract. But all of that's based off what he did with Patrick Mahomes, who
that is true.
Gonna end up being maybe the best quarterback of this generation. He's got some competition, but he's a pretty big guy. I don't think there's enough in Tua to give the kind of production we expect Tyreek Hill to be a top 5 wide receiver easily.
Yes, you should.
I don't expect him to be a top 5 receiver this year. And so for me, I would rather draft another player at that spot and go back later and get Jalen Waddle. Because then if Tua does end up being pretty good, I get the cheaper of the wide receivers. And I can replace Tyreek Hill on my fantasy squad with any one of those guys who are potentially going to be a top 5 guy. And, or I get a better running back there. And I just grab Jalen Waddle. I'm going to get discount on Jalen Waddle before I pay the high price for Tyreek Hill. We'll see how that goes. I'm interested in seeing how that Miami team works out, though. Cause like you said, they're bringing in a new offense. Good. Hey, they made Jimmy G look good for some years before he got completely exposed. So
it's a similar offense. So I'm gonna stay with the wide receivers really quick.
Yeah.
And both of these guys are either gonna have a bridge quarterback or either like a kind of second year, third year guy. Deontay Johnson, DK Metcalf.
I have a DK question for you as well. But I'm gonna throw in my question with yours. We're combining into one. You had Deontay Johnson or DK Metcalf. I'm gonna throw in Mike Williams in this equation because Mike Williams and DK are going around 47. When I was at 48, somewhere around that 4th to 5th round kind of wide receiver. I was not going to say DK for the fact of what we discussed earlier. They have 2 quarterbacks, which means they don't have a quarterback. If Jimmy G ends up there, however, I might change my opinion, and I'm
Okay.
gonna say between Mike Williams and Deontay Johnson, I'm going Deontay all day.
Yeah, I'm going Deontay.
Yeah,
Um, I like the quarterback situation
yeah.
just a tad bit better.
Especially once
And
Kenny Pickett gets the job.
Kenny Pickett gets in the game. Yeah, so
Right.
I think Kenny Pickett is a better quarterback than Geno Smith, Lockett.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not really high on Mike Williams like everybody else
Yeah.
is. A lot of people high on Mike Williams. I'm not. I mean, I had Mike Williams last year, and Mike Williams went on a really bad stretch of
Yeah.
games,
He
probably
dis-
about 6 games.
Yeah, he was stunning everybody, and then he completely disappeared. Like you
He
said.
disappeared for like 6 games straight. So I'm not really high on him.
Hmm.
I'm going to Deontay Johnson just because I know I like Kenny Pickett to take that job, and he needs to be
Yeah.
the week 1 starter, by the way. If he starts from week 1, I think they take off. But if he don't, I think it's going to be a little bit of a struggle for Deontay Johnson with Trubisky. But once Kenny Pickett takes it long haul, I think it's Deontay Johnson. DK, he just needs that
He
quarterback.
needs to go to. Like I said, if Jimmy
Yeah.
G ends up, and as much as I'm not a big Jimmy G fan, I love him way more than Drew Lock or Geno Smith.
Yes.
So if Jimmy G's in Seattle, I got a little bit more. So you might want to get on DK low while you can, because maybe it turns out to be a good pick later. But yeah, I'm Deontay. I'll let you go again since I kind of deboed your question.
Um, I like this one. I'm gonna go quarterback.
Okay.
Justin Fields, and put injury aside, or Zach Wilson.
I'll tell you this. Watching they haven't overworked him, but for the bit that Justin Fields has been in there, I'm impressed. Because
Okay.
I came into this season saying I would not pick Justin Fields if he was sitting right in front of me. I wanted no part of him because I didn't like the offense. I'm actually starting to I don't know if I'm completely sold on it, but I'm seeing something in Justin Fields that makes me think maybe, just maybe, he won't be awful this year.
Okay.
Zach Wilson, I've seen enough tape to know I'm not. He was a rookie. He can always come. Hey, Peyton Manning threw how many interceptions his first year?
Yeah.
So it's not like I don't believe Zach Wilson can come back. And I think Zach Wilson definitely has the better weapons with Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson. But
Yeah.
if I'm picking one, because Justin Fields gives me that running ability as well, I'm gonna go. Hey, Chi-Town, give me Justin Fields.
You say shut.
Yeah.
I'm going. I just have a feeling that Justin Fields is going to end up kind of sort of in that Russell Wilson mode.
Okay.
When Russ got there, the O-line wasn't great. Even like the last couple of years he's been there, the O-line wasn't great. The defense was just good enough until they got really good at defense. But he's going to have to run around so much. And I'm just saying, for fantasy purposes, when you think about points add up that way, he's going to have to do so much just to keep them in the game. And that's passing, running, just everything that comes with it. I'm going Justin Fields. I'm not really high on Zach Wilson, to be honest with you. I mean, maybe he comes in and he does work, but right now, I'm not sold on Zach Wilson. Like I said, I could be wrong, but I'm not sold on him right now.
Any concern with the fact that Joe Flacco's apparently looking good in that offense? It's like
That's the thing. Mike White looked good last year in that offense when he wasn't there, when he was hurt.
Yeah.
So it just tells me it's not the offense.
Yeah.
It may be a quarterback.
So,
But they put so much investment in him, you have to play him though.
Right. Like Joe Flacco is gonna be the starter week 1 because Zach Wilson. If he gets into a good groove, I don't know.
Yeah.
It kind of scares me a little bit. Hey, welcome Tony to the show. I'm mad at you I don't even want you watching the show because we put up our dynasty leagues earlier, and I know you watch the show on a regular basis. You heard me talk about Isaiah Likely, and you stole him from me
Oh
in
my
our
gosh.
dynasty draft. I hate your guts right now, but Isaiah Likely has been just insanely good. I'm like, every bit of hype that was surrounding him in this Baltimore area has been justified. Oh, I'm
Yeah,
so mad I didn't
they
get
say he's
him.
gonna be involved a lot this year
Oh,
too. Yep.
if you haven't been watching Isaiah Likely in the preseason, you missed a treat. He had 8 catches in the first half, 100 yards. He is doing work. I hate your guts, Tony. Let me go to my next question. Since we were talking young quarterbacks, let me go here. You have to pick. It's not just picking one. I want you to pick the order in which these rookie quarterbacks start. Kenny Pickett, of course, with the Steelers. Malik Willis with the Titans. Desmond Ritter with the Falcons. And Sam Howell I threw in with the Washington football team.
So
What order are they claiming the starting roles on those prospective teams? And would you draft any of them?
well, Kenny Pickett is probably gonna be 1.
Yeah. I
Riddle
figure
is
that's the
probably
easy
gonna-
one. Yeah.
Yeah, Riddle's probably gonna be 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Malik Willis at 3,
Okay.
Howe at 4. But 3 and 4 could possibly switch. And the reason I say that because, and we talked about this off camera, Tannehill is making so much money.
So much money.
That's the only reason why I think Malik Willis is gonna stay on the bench.
Okay.
Now, if Malik Willis, if they start out 1-5, 0-4, somewhere in that area, you're gonna see Malik Willis at some point. You have to pay aside. You have to win games. If he ain't doing it for you, you got to put him in a game. How with Carson Wentz, that's another one. He's getting paid a lot of money, but Howe is probably the better quarterback at this point. Carson Wentz is going to be that guy no matter what, just because of pay. But if I have to draft one, I'm going Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett is going to be, even if he's not starting week 1, I would draft Kenny Pickett as a stash just to put there. Because I know at some point he's going to take that job. So,
Yeah.
but I like Malik Willis though a whole lot, and I think he should.
You
have
have
a
him in the dynasty league. So yeah.
I think he should have a chance to start. To be honest with you, so me personally, Tannehill, if he's not up to it and he can't win games, you got to go with Malik Willis. So,
All right, we have our orders just about the same. Of course, Kenny Pickett, like I said, that's the easy one. He's definitely the first one to start. Throw in some numbers for you. Trubisky, he has a 2-year, $14 million contract with incentives to go to $27 million. He ain't seeing that $27 million because
Oh, no,
he ain't
not
getting
even.
none of those incentives. So it's like, the money that he got guaranteed is all he's gonna see because they're not. Pickett has been so, and the crazy part is, Mitch Trubisky has looked really good this preseason. But, Kenny Pickett's looked equally good. It's like this dude is
Yep.
like ready day one. And there's really nothing he's going to learn sitting behind Mitch Trubisky.
Nope.
So that one, to me, yeah, that's the easy one. I think Desmond Ritter's the number 2. Mariota's getting $19 million, but also I think only between 5 and 6 million of that's guaranteed. So they
Guaranteed,
can dump
yeah.
him like tomorrow and not even miss a beat. So
the thing is this:
yeah.
all of that is backup money.
Yeah, exactly.
If you look at this scheme of things, they got a 2-year deal. Both of them got 2-year deals. It is literally backup money.
Because that's what
Because
they are.
Trubisky was making $10 million last year
Uh-huh.
as a backup. It's probably less than that. Guaranteed wise, it's probably less than that.
Yeah.
So it's really, if they were to lose their job, it's really backup money.
Yeah.
It's not like they get paid a lot of money.
And one of the reasons they picked up Desmond Ritter is they see a lot of Marcus Mariota in him, so they're similar guys, so you can go switch from one to the other, and now you have to change your offense. So Ritter's gonna get that job before this year is out.
Exactly.
And then the question is, like you said, 3 or 4, you could go either way. I'm gonna go because of the money. and say that because they can get out of Carson Wentz's contract pretty easily just as well. He's a bit more. He's a bit more than the other two, but they still hit like I think less than or around half of his money is guaranteed. They can still absorb that loss with Carson Wentz. So I could see Sam Howell potentially playing this year, but he wouldn't play till I think very late after they're already eliminated from the playoffs. Is the earliest I would expect to see him in. Malik Willis, the coaching staff, they seem like they're pretty content on just being really patient, like you said, mainly because of all Tannehill has a 4-year, $118 million. He's averaging like $30 million a year right now.
Yeah.
So that's Jimmy G money right there.
See,
but in a different kind of situation. But his is even more so. So I think they're gonna be patient. They're gonna force themselves to be patient with Malik Willis. As much as he's been improving, they said. But I wouldn't expect to see Willis until next year.
I mean, the thing is this: if you're looking at the offense, what he can bring to the offense, basically, they're gonna stack the box. I don't know how many times I can say this. They're gonna stack the box, eight in the box against Derrick Henry because they know you're gonna force Tannehill. And the thing is, you don't have no offense to the rookie, but we see, is he ready to go out there and be that number one?
Right. We
don't know.
Burks.
Treylon Burks. We don't know if Treylon Burks is ready to be that number one.
My guess is no.
So I'm just saying, me personally, I think I'm one of my bold predictions is Malik Willis is going to take the job out by week 6, week 7.
That's bold.
So I'm just saying that. But I'm gonna go to my next one.
Yeah, go for it.
One of these guys is getting a lot of hype right now. Great quarterback, and the other one, new team, great quarterback. Gabriel Davis, Allen Robinson.
Allen Robinson.
Okay.
Because I saw Odell Beckham, who we put up for dead, suddenly look like a Pro Bowler that he hasn't been in years. And Allen Robinson, for one, he has to want to improve on. Last season was just miserable.
Yeah.
But him in that role, I'm Allen Robinson all day on that one. I think Gabriel Davis, he's growing on me ever so slowly, but I think he's gotten more hype off a few games. And the last few times he's played, he's been really good. Don't get me wrong. But I had to go with Allen Robinson. The only thing that potentially scares me about Allen Robinson is how serious is Matthew Stafford's elbow injury, and how would that go going forward. But if I'm assuming that he's going to be okay, I'd take him over Gabriel Davis.
You got the next one.
Oh, did you say yours?
Yeah, I just did.
Yeah.
I just did.
I know. I mean, did you say who you're going with?
Oh, I'm
assuming Allen Robinson, but
I'm going Allen Robinson.
Yeah.
I ain't messing with Gabriel Davis. He overhyped anyway.
All right.
So
this is similar to my earlier question about backup versus perceived number one. Would you rather have Chase Edmonds in Miami or Kareem Hunt, the backup in Cleveland?
So I'm a throw. Because I got a Kareem Hunt one too. So I'm gonna put mid. So I'm gonna go to say Matt. So Chase Edmonds, Kareem Hunt, but I'm gonna throw in Tony Pollard.
Okay, that's a good throw in.
So because all of them are pretty much in the same situation.
Mm-hmm.
Starter, they're a backup situation. So if first of all, I'm taking out Chase Edmonds because I do not like anything about Miami's backfield, period, point blank. It's going to be
But it has your San Francisco 49ers offense.
I just don't like it.
Not good
it's
enough.
a revolving door. I'm
Right.
not I want to say Kareem Hunt off experience, but I want to say Pollard because I think he going to get more run than Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt's in a whole contract dispute right now. I don't know how that's going to work out. So I'm going to say Tony Pollard.
Since you threw in Tony Pollard, I'm going to agree with you. Before I was going to say Chase Edmonds because I think he's the one Whereas Kareem Hunt is, he has value for me more so if Nick Chubb is hurt, even though they get him. But I said earlier in the offseason, I thought Kareem Hunt was going to get traded, and then I would be really big on Kareem Hunt somewhere else. I'm not really loving it. They've made the situation work, but for a fantasy perspective, I think he has more value on another team. I'm gonna say, like you say, it's a very backlog running back room in Miami.
Oh, yes,
but
it is.
Remember just a year ago, you and I were really big on Chase Edmonds because we were like, James Conner can't stay healthy. Chase Edmonds is really talented. I'm still going to go with Chase Edmonds is really talented, and I think more talented than anyone else in that running back room. I think he can take command of that job and give you some good weeks.
They have a lot of running backs.
They have a lot of running backs, though.
They have a lot of running backs.
But they ain't got a Nick Chubb. I'll tell you that much.
You right about that.
They don't have a Nick Chubb at all.
5 running backs back there, man. That is crazy. And all of them do the same thing.
Yeah.
That's the bad part. All of them do the same thing.
They're all fast. But Mustard can't stay healthy either. So I'm hoping he eliminates himself. And that.
Oh, yeah. He'll be hurt by week 3.
That gives Chase Edmonds an upper hand, maybe.
Yeah, he'll be hurt by week 3. Don't worry about that. Definitely week 3. So I'm going to let you go because I kind of hopped on yours, but go ahead.
Oh, you're good. You're good. All right. Let's talking backups again. Which backup would you rather have? Alexander Madison or Khalil Herbert?
Whew. I'm going to say Madison. Even though Madison can stink up the field a little bit, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Madison, I remember I want to say not last year, but the year before that, Madison was the backup, and he was supposed to come in and do work, and he just didn't do anything.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Madison, though. Khalil Herbert, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. But
they're both going in around the low to mid 40s in average draft position. So,
well, I'm gonna say this: Cook is bound to miss 3 games. So he's bound to miss 3 games. Madison is definitely gonna play. Khalil Herbert, we don't know. So at least we know Madison's gonna at least get on the field because Cook normally gets hurt about 3 games. So,
real life situation. I have Madison. If y'all were paying close attention in the Dynasty League, I wanted Khalil Herbert because the issue is Khalil Herbert. Madison, I think, has a ton of value if Dalvin Cook is hurt or when Dalvin gets hurt. Yeah. Those 3 games. Khalil Herbert, we saw last year with, and it's not like David Montgomery doesn't get hurt on occasion as well.
He does.
But we've seen the fact that there's room for Khalil Herbert and David Montgomery to potentially exist and get work. And so I'm going to go with Khalil Herbert only because it won't be – I don't think unless Montgomery gets hurt, I don't think he'll ever have the bigger peak like Madison might potentially give you. But I think on I need somebody to throw in on a bye week. You might get away with putting in a Khalil Herbert and hope that that's one of his good games. Madison doesn't even exist until Dalvin Cook gets hurt. So
I agree with you on that.
He's like nowhere until he's suddenly the best running back you can possibly have on your team. Khalil Herbert it's a more steady course. Like, maybe every once in a while I can throw him in if I need to.
Yeah,
and that's the only reason. Madison has a higher ceiling, but I think Khalil Herbert has a lower floor.
So I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
This one should be interesting. Carson Wentz or Ryan Tannehill?
Tannehill killed me last year. I mentioned that earlier in the show, so Carson Wentz. Justin, you've been good this whole day. Don't. Why? Show's over. I'm done. The Sox are dead. The Sox were giving me life, and I was getting excited. They beat I think I mentioned on the show about a month ago that they beat the Yankees, and I was feeling good about life. And then they just hit us. The Red Sox are just done. I'm done with them till next year. They gave me so much joy last year, and they just hurting my heart this season. Justin's going with Ryan Tannehill, by the way, in this situation.
Eh,
I don't like either guy.
I don't like you guys either.
And
but
I've been burnt by Carson Wentz as well, by the way. Both of those guys have done me horrible right at the end, right around playoff time. Both of them have put up such stinkers that my teams have crashed and burned. So I hate both of them. But if I have to pick one, I guess I just go Carson Wentz only because
you've been burned. Just say it. I've been burned.
I hate your question because I don't want to pick. I don't want to pick either.
You gotta pick one.
Trevor
man.
Lawrence. My answer is Trevor Lawrence.
You gotta pick one. I'm going.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz.
Can't even get excited.
I can't. I'm neither one personally.
Tony is a big Commanders fan, and I guarantee you he wouldn't pick Carson Wentz. Nobody wants Carson Wentz.
Woo.
Yeah.
I came up with because I knew it'd be hard.
Yeah. I could see. I think they both hold on to their job through the year until they're eliminated. But the Commanders are going to get eliminated sooner than the Titans, I guess. So maybe that's a reason to say Tannehill, but I still.
The Titans got a better defense. They got a better running game. Tannehill gonna be protected a little bit. I don't know, man. It's a toss up.
Yeah.
So
I think I know. I have one last one. I think I know your answer, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. If you got to pick between Chase Claypool or George Pickens as a wide receiver, Claypool's going earlier than Pickens by a few spots, like a round earlier for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Just the way I'm wording the question, you know my answer is George Pickens.
I want Pickens.
So I figure your answer is probably going to be the same.
I mean, I got one last one too,
yeah.
And we talked about this one too. So I should have had two that I wanted to give out, but let's do this one first, and then if I want to come back to it,
go for it.
Josh Jacobs or Clyde? No,
Josh Jacobs. Come on, it's not a question. I don't even got to hear. I don't care who the second one is. Josh Jacobs
or Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
You know I don't like Clyde Edwards-Helaire. It's Clyde Edwards-Helaire might not. Who's the draft? The rookie that they drafted. He's been playing really. It's like Isaiah or something. I have to look it up. Hold up. But no, it's not Clyde Edwards-Helaire at all. I told y'all before, Josh Jacobs won't be a running back with the Raiders next year because that's not what they do. They didn't pick up his contract for a reason, but they're gonna milk him this year. I'm going Josh Jacobs on this one, and I don't even think about Clyde. I've never liked Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Never will.
And I got one more just before we go.
Oh, yeah. Justin hates to say Josh Jacobs as well, but he knows it's the right answer.
Michael Thomas, DeAndre Hopkins.
DeAndre. I'm gonna stay with that six. Hey, y'all saw my roster. I have DeAndre Hopkins, and I'm so ready to get the first 6 weeks of the season over with. I have more confidence in Kyler Murray as a quarterback than I have in Jameis. I like Jameis. If you look, you see I have Jameis Winston on one of my teams as well. But I have a lot more confidence in Kyler Murray getting the ball to DeAndre than I have in Jameis Winston getting the ball to Michael Thomas. And I'm still not sure how healthy Mike Thomas is going to be as he comes back. So I'm hoping for the best because I want to see Jameis Winston succeed. Mm-hmm. I want to see the New Orleans Saints be good because I want them to knock off. I hope Shaq is still listening. I want the Saints to knock off the Buccaneers. So I'm hoping Jameis is phenomenal this year. But I'm gonna go with DeAndre Hopkins. By the way, Isaiah Pacheco is the rookie for the Chiefs that I was trying to think of. He's looked pretty good at camp, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire might not have that job by the time the season's over. So Josh Jacobs all the way. Who are you going with?
Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
I think the first 6 games
Yeah.
Michael Thomas should get in a groove. I think
Yeah.
it's going to take DeAndre Hopkins a couple games to get in that groove coming back.
That's why he was doing performance enhancing drugs, so he wouldn't have
You
to.
gotta stop
He's gonna
that
come
stuff.
right in. No,
He was, but I'm just saying, like, I mean, I think Michael Thomas is probably gonna be, because he's gonna have a head start on DeAndre this year. So
he will.
I think Michael Thomas comes out the gate not blazing fire, but I think he's gonna.
But he has 6
get
weeks
his
to
stuff
get together, right? While
Yeah,
DeAndre is going to sit on. I like that's not a bad. Justin agrees with you that it's Michael Thomas as well, but Tony is going with Hop. So
I think that 6 games is gonna.
But Tony stole Isaiah Likely from me, so we don't even care about it. I'm still mad at you, Tony. Don't think you can just weasel yourself back into my heart by agreeing with me.
Oh my gosh!
But unless you trade me Isaiah Likely, I'll make you a good deal.
Hey, make it happen.
Yeah,
Make
that's
it happen.
that's what it's about. But
Oh my god!
that's all I got.
I had some more, but I don't know if you want to go through them. So,
Yeah.
but it's cool. We ain't got to.
Yeah,
So,
we can save some,
Yeah.
do some later. But hey, like I said, preseason's over. It's draft time. So for y'all that have drafts coming up, Justin, good luck with you tomorrow.
Definitely.
Let us know what you end up with. And
Oh, yeah.
I'm not wishing Tony luck because we actually are in a draft with him this Saturday. So I hope everything you do fails. So there you go. Good luck, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, follow us on all of our social medias. Hit us up with your questions. It's a great show because you guys were here with us.
yeah, and we do respond.
Yeah.
So just we here. We ain't going nowhere. Let's make it great. Let's have a great season, y'all. Definitely, because we're getting close, and I can't wait.
I'm excited.
Oh man!
All right, peace out, everybody.
All right.